guys. It's 3:08 p.m. This is the Supernatural Show. Today's topic is going to be cycles. If I can get my screen to roll. Cycles, patterns, and symbolism, the language of nature. All right, we are starting the broadcasting. Cue intro. Hi guys, this is Daniel Alexander Cannon here on the Supernatural Show, the show that is not for entertainment purposes. Today, we're going to follow that line of thinking, and we're going to attempt to help you understand and comprehend. Additionally, some of you are the advanced class that are here. Yeah, but some of you will maybe be beginners. So we're going to help you try to understand the nature of the world, okay? And why things are as they are. But first, let's see who we've got here with us today. Actually, Roxy is not with us today. She had some things to take care of, so Roxy's not here today. However, we do have my long-standing co-host Shannon here with us today. And what in the supernatural is going on with you, Shannon?
I am in the process of cleansing my house, getting out clutter, getting rid of excess stuff, and getting things clean, getting my house in order so the chaos outside is not within.
You mean yes or no?
But yeah, and I'm excited. The Ethiopian Bibles are arriving today for that tinfoil hat contest, which we will be voting for by the end of this week, I believe. And yeah, so that's what's been going on.
You said they're arriving today?
Yes, they are.
And it is the Ethiopian 88 book Bible, right?
Yes, and all kinds of other stuff digitally, and yeah.
So why would we, in your opinion, Shannon, why would we, I would think y'all guys would be telling us if there's an audio problem. Miss Kim's having one on her side over there. I'll check her out here in a second and see what's going on. Let me finish our little intro area here. Robin says, yes, we're 5x5, so sound is all good. So, but I was going to ask you, why would someone want to, in your opinion, want access to the 88 book Bible instead of the 66 canonized bull Bible that was released by the Catholic Church via King James?
Well, 2 reasons. I chose the Ethiopian Bible with the full 88 books in it was because it has been untouched by certain powers that be throughout history. The Ethiopians have preserved everything the way it was written, the way it should be. And that way, I personally have a huge collection of Bibles from different time periods, Bibles different, what do you call it? Translation versions, all of that kind of stuff. And having this Bible is really awesome to compare and contrast where things had been changed and what the true meaning is behind that scripture. So it is an amazing tool for you to really actually understand God's word because it's preserved and untouched.
Nice. Yeah, I think that I have a concern with the fact that they chose, knowing what I know about the Catholic Church. And this show isn't about just telling you everything that I know about the Catholic Church, but based on what I know about the Catholic Church, them choosing to exclude certain books and coming up with the number 66 is actually appropriate for them, knowing what I know about the Catholic Church. And the number 88 would be an actual appropriate number, knowing what I know about a lot of things. And the number 88 is associated with the light, the truth, with Jesus Christ, Yahushua HaMashiach, or Yeshua Christos, the Christ. It is, I think, important to not be locked-kneed into thinking that you should only look at the one that the Catholic Church put out. And on top of that, the Catholic Church does not allow their members of the church to even read it. They have to go to the priest and have the priest tell them what they should do or what it means. And to me, knowing that I am a child of God in this world, I want to prove all things and seek all things, and then discern and make my own decision about it. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that the Ethiopian Bible is going to be the answer all to all, but I can say that I want to read it and I want to see it. And ultimately, I'm going to have one of these, even if I don't win the tinfoil hat contest between us. Some way or another, I'm going to get one and check it out. So, Shannon, give me just a second, and guys, give me a second. I got to check on Miss Kim and see if her setup is functioning right or whatever. Maybe just chit-chat amongst yourselves for just a moment. I'll be right back.
Well, okay. I would like to kind of expand on what he had mentioned about the Catholic religion. And I just want to reiterate something, of course, because there are many people who call themselves Catholics who really are people of God, and they really believe in Jesus and all of those things. And they see hypocrisy within the church and all of that. And I'm not talking about any of those people by any means, but I can speak for the church in their manipulative skills quite well, because, and I know for a fact that they do frown upon you reading the Bible for yourself. And it's interesting because, the Catholics have their own Bible, printed, of course, that has a lot of interesting symbolism within the pages. But I found myself reading the Bible all the time when I was a kid. And I would constantly be like, what does this mean? And I would go to my mom or go to certain people in the church. And my mom didn't know because she was taught not to read the Bible herself. The priests had to interpret it for you. So I would ask my priests and the nuns and things along those lines when I was at church. And they all got very upset with me and would tell me, well, this is exactly why you need to have the priest interpret this for you, because you don't understand, and this is why you're asking questions. And I got reprimanded and told I needed to go to confession and do all my rosary prayers and all of that kind of stuff, just because I had questions, because I read the Bible myself. And that just did not sit too well with any of the higher people in the church.
It pretty much sits well with when you want to control people. You're not able to connect with God. You're not able to discern or understand anything. And I don't agree with that. So I'm excited that that Shannon brought up the opportunity for us to get our hands on some of those. And I actually didn't know you could get one where she is getting it from. And I was like, wow, this is awesome. Yeah, I see your comment from the website, 7687, 88 books thick. Most would probably assume that an Ethiopian Bible would be thin. It's not. That's a big book. It's bigger than the King James because it has all the King James in there, but not edited by King James. So you're going to get a more authentic Bible, I believe. Now, there's going to be somebody that's going to say, oh, no, you got to stick straight with this or that or the other, and that's what you've been taught, and that's what you believe, and I understand it. But put it this way, if you're not aware at this point, the King James is changing. It's been changing. And what I mean by that, it's like Mandela effect, and there are a lot of examples. We've done entire shows on it, talking about all the examples of where the King James has been changing. Now, I wonder what it says in the Ethiopian. I wonder if those same changes have taken place somehow supernaturally in the Ethiopian, or if the Ethiopian has been untouched. It'd be interesting to see. Wouldn't you think, Shannon? That would be interesting.
I am super excited because eventually, I'm just going to state this now. I will probably just get my own because I'm not counting myself. Even you guys can vote for me. But
Anyway,
if so, well, I wanted to be able to, I wanted the competition to keep on keeping on.
Yeah.
With all of us in the network. So,
being that we're not going to start voting until this Friday, because I took the whole weekend off. I didn't do any website, do anything, basically nothing. I did a little talking via chat with the gang, but nobody, nothing, no work. So I didn't have things ready for us today, and I've got to have a really solid method for us to be able to vote. But what this does is this is going to give y'all guys just a few more days if you want to get your stuff submitted on the website. All you got to do is go on there and TheSupernatural.Show and look for where it says the tinfoil hat contest. It's still on there at the moment. So you got just a little bit longer. And visitor 7687, the Book of Enoch is in the 88 Ethiopian, along with all the other ones that were left out, So let's see. Of course, like I said, Shannon's here, Miss Kim's here, like as you guys know. And is it working? It still ain't working? Give me just one more second, Shannon, if you can help me out. I'll be right back.
So, guys, I hope that everything is going well with you guys today. I have been doing a lot of research on different types of resources and old recipes and video links to put up on the website. It may take me a week to get things all prepared, but I just wanted to make sure that there is a resource for anybody who are looking for recipes that they can do with little means, or holistic type medicines that you can make at home yourself, things along those lines, different ideas and survival tips, those kinds of things, so you guys have access to that for as long as everything is up and running with the internet. So you can be prepared and prepare your family for anything that may come our way. And that, that's kind of important. Something I'd like to note that a lot of us have been studying and waiting and feeling like we were in that last generation in these end times. And we have all been watching and waiting for the signs and symbols, and we know that these things are going to come. But sometimes I think that we are not always in the reality that this is actually happening. Like, we can shout out to the rooftops that, hey, we're in end times. We've been in end times for quite a minute here. But to actually face reality and say, hey, it doesn't say in the Bible that I am going to be completely safe from any kind of sorrows or any kind of struggle. It clearly states that we will be here in the time of sorrows. We will be here to face these hardships, and that we're all tested in that way and shape and form. So it's not fear-mongering to be prepared. It's not fear-mongering to put that oil in your lamp.
Knowledge.
It's knowledge, and it's something that since you can remember that you were going to be a part of. So it's not anything to fear. It's just, hey, it's here. It's kind of an exciting thing. It's not exciting
Yeah,
to
because
see
we are
people
not of this
suffer.
world.
Right. It's not exciting to see people suffer. It's not exciting to go through hard times, but it's exciting to know that we are here in the times that it's all going to be in God's hands forever. And that's the part that's exciting. That we all get to go home soon. That's the part that's exciting.
And speaking of the end times, let me share my screen. Okay, there. Speaking of the end times, and the name of the show today, of course, is Cycles, Patterns, and Symbolism of the true nature of this world, right? Or the nature of nature, basically. To know that you're in the end times means that there's a cycle that goes on. Now, it went on before. We all can read about it in the in any kind of Bible you want, where it comes talking about Noah. And so this world goes through these cycles, okay? And it's, now there may come a time when the cycle is done, but nobody knows when that'll be and when the ultimate end is over, and that there's just no more experience, meaning this world, this reality. You see, and I say it quite often, we're in this world, but we're not of this world. This world is a teaching grounds, a testing grounds, where we're here to experience things, experience basically the light and the darkness. And we are here having that experience. And so we're going through these cycles. And this world, if you go and you start looking, which we're going to do, and I have done, but if you go and you start looking into the past at archaeology, you might call it, for lack of better words, you'll start noticing that there's evidence that this world has had an end times quite a few times, and we don't even know how many. There's too many, as Roxy would say, there's too many things that were founded. There's too many old, made out of stone, ancient buildings and statues and petrified trees and just everything that is left over and was found again. And it tells us something, okay? It is trying to tell us about the nature of this world. It is a cycle. Now, I'm not the first one to ever say that, but it's something I see clearly, that there's cycles that this world goes through, and we come in and out, in and out, in and out freely for the most part. We fear death and we fear pain, and that's just, I guess you'd say, natural. But we only fear death because we don't know what's on the other side. Or we have beliefs about what the other side is, but we don't know because that part of our memory has, you might say, we don't have the memory of exactly what it was like, okay? And of course, that's part of what Father chose. He chose for it to be that way. And so I guess you could say that was a good lead in to what we're talking about here. I'm trying to change the background on this thing here, and for some reason, there we go. Trying to get the LBA background, Logic Before Authority background out. Anyways, so let's talk about cycles, okay? Because everything in this world is based on these cycles, patterns. Patterns are something you can recognize, and it's a repeating something, okay? And then you have the symbolism that you should be able to recognize a lot better if you've been here with me for quite a while. But all these things, they work together. Matter of fact, I had a little piece here that I was going to read that I wrote earlier. So let me read it real quick. It's not too long. Let me get some water. So I wrote, cycles, a small word with deep meaning. Most will never seek or understand. Patterns, another small word with deep, hidden in plain sight implications. Few will ever know. Symbolism, another slightly bigger word that, if understood, unveils the hidden in plain sight, simple nature of our world. Repeating cycles, repeating patterns, repeating symbolic refracted images in the likeness of themselves, unveiling the majestic yet simplistic nature of the world we live in and how it functions, like an orchestra, creating and holding the thin reality we call life together. Hidden, yet truly hidden in plain sight. The cycles, patterns, and symbolism are all written upon our flesh, like an owner's manual, yet one that few ever read. Birth, childhood, manhood, and our children, and ultimately death, reveal to us not just the nature of man, but the nature of nature, and even the nature of the heavens above. All following cycles, patterns, and holding the symbolism to decode it all. Just as we experience birth, life, and death, and then rebirth through our children, so must the world. Time itself even experiences this same supernatural process. Can you see it yet? If you cannot, welcome to the Supernatural Show, a place that reveals these things as we take you beyond the veil. So yeah, I wrote that earlier as I was thinking about today's show. And some of you will, I think, understand really what I'm saying in those words. And I, too, am still seeking the true nature. But there's been so many years now that I've been blessed with having the ability to have the time to be able to focus my life, or the remainder thereof in this world, on seeking the answers to these things, seeking the right questions to ask, seeking the true world that we live in, and whose world do we live in. Now, we know ultimately Father created all things, but most of us would agree that there is a prince of this world, or God of this world. We would see that as the lightness being Father and the darkness being Satan. And they chase each other continuously throughout time, in every way and all ways, continuously. Dark chasing light, light chasing darkness. And this same pattern exists in everything. And the pattern itself is a cycle. And there's symbolism that is all over, literally all over our bodies. One of the first places I've come to learn to look at our bodies. For we are in the image of our Father in heaven. And our bodies will reveal to us the true nature of the world we live in, if we look at it and truly want to discern and understand what it is. Y'all guys all know that I've looked at the human eye a lot. Y'all guys, we haven't had too in-depth a conversation in a while about what I call points of creation, which are they're areas on our body that are in the image of the garden, like even the Garden of Eden, as depicted in the Bible. And they all have similar attributes. They all have cycles they go through. They all have patterns they exhibit. And then the symbolism is all there to be seen. I'm not going to go down the rabbit hole and back up and go into that today. Ultimately, I'm going to have a documentary that will show all these things that I'll be putting out in as soon as I can. For this work takes a lot of time. Here's like an old temple that's in India, for instance. And, you know, how old is this really? When was it found? Or maybe even was it found several times? You know, because certain things that have been built in this world seem to have the ability to but exist on throughout times, throughout the cycles. And then a cycle when end time comes, which they would call it the Great Reset, because they're very well aware of what I'm talking about. They're so well aware of it that they want to control it. And they want to come out on the other side as the victors. And ultimately, they would love to dethrone God himself if they could. And they've attempted to do this every cycle. Tower of Babel, Noah's Ark. I mean, there's numerous that are documented, and how many are not even documented? Or if they're documented, we don't have the documents. Because there are places like the Vatican that will hide everything they can because they don't want us to figure out exactly what I'm trying to figure out and share it with everybody. Because I do believe that understanding, or rather understanding, the true nature of our world will reveal everything that opposes us and everything that does not oppose us, and ultimately will set us free. But we have to seek it in order to find it. I've got some slides up here on the screen. I had one that I showed Shannon earlier, and I'll ask y'all guys the same question here. As you can see, it's just a simple screw, right? And let me make this a little bit bigger. I'm putting this document together as I go. I've got another document here that's got, let's see, 799 pages, or slides, you might say. And it got so big that it's hard to work with it. So I decided to kind of restart it and rebuild it and try to build it in a way that ultimately I can make a documentary out of it. And if you want to see the original one, I'm going to take it, a link to it, and I'm going to put it on the website under a page called, I think I named it Daniel's Desk. Okay. So I think it's under the homepage button, and it drops down and gives you different pages. I think it's called Daniel's Desk, and I'll put it in there. It'll probably take me a few minutes after the show to get it on there, but you'll be able to look at this entire 799 slides and even make comments on the side, so that way I'll see them if you have a thought or whatever. But let's talk about something simple and see what we can figure out about it. I literally just thought about this right before we were going live. And I thought, let's try to go real simple and see if we can learn something from it. So I asked Shannon before the show, and I told her to hold the answer. I said, why am I showing a screw? Knowing what the topic and stuff is, why am I showing you a screw? Why is the simple screw designed as it is? And there's no wrong answer, Shannon. So you're not on the super test here, but you got any thoughts?
I mean, it does help to continue to embed itself within the, whatever object as you're turning it, because of the spiral pattern.
Mm-hmm.
It locks in and it tightens and untightens with ease. That's
Okay.
all I can think of.
Well, you're noticing, you're noticing the attributes of it, and and that's part of it. But what came to me is that it's as simple as this: a screw would not work any other way. It has to work this way because it is a law of the nature in which we exist in. If you design, of course, you can make the screw longer, you can make it thicker, you can change the spin of the threads on it. You can do things like that. But it has to, in order for it to function, which a screw is something that is used, every household in the world has one in it. Probably many. But if we didn't understand this one simple thing of how nature functions, we wouldn't know how to even design the screw. Another example would be the wheel. Like understanding in this world the simple nature of how a wheel works, and not only works, but works most proficiently. A square wheel doesn't work real well. If you got a steep enough incline, you could get it to roll down the hill, but the square wheel doesn't work very well. The one that's perfectly round works the best. To get it to spin or tour, to get it to move, right? And if you look at for instance, the eye of a hurricane, when is that hurricane its best? When the eye of it is a perfect circle. It's a wheel. Okay? And then you can take that same simple understanding again and go from the wheel to the hurricane, and then go all the way to Ezekiel's wheel within a wheel. That explains simply when angels appear in this world, they take on the form based on the laws of this world, which is in Ezekiel depicted as a wheel within a wheel, in which I have seen that image of the wheel within a wheel. To me, it looked like a donut, but also, well, you could say like a hurricane, like the eye of a hurricane, a donut, the wheel within the wheel. And it also, it also looks like a torus. When I've seen angels, I've seen the energy flowing around them. And all that energy is following a specific pattern, okay? And that pattern it has to follow that pattern because it is the nature of this world. So we have the simple screw, and it rotates on a central axis in order to perform its job. Okay. Just like if you look at this as like a tornado, the tornado's spinning and drilling itself down and performing the actions that it does. And of course, the hurricane has the simple screw nature in it itself, and the threads in the hurricane and even in the tornado, the threads are the frequency lines that are spinning around it. Okay. Even the most simplest things in this world are based on the same cycles. Of course, in order to get this screw to work, you have to turn it. You have to make it cycle, and it's all working on the same set of rules. And once you realize that the world is working all on the same set of rules, you can start to see the patterns, the repeating patterns. They got the cycles, the patterns, and the symbolism. Symbolism is like saying you're seeing cycles and seeing patterns, but symbolism says, okay, a hurricane and a tornado, they function very similarly, but they're not exactly the same. They're in the similar image to each other. Now, they're a lot closer in image to each other than a lot of things, but because they're both in the clouds, and they both produce heavy winds and all these things. But you could find these same patterns and symbolism in everything that's in this world. And like I've shown y'all guys many, many times before. And point out basically why I'm showing the screw is because I want us to think how simple it actually is. You know what I mean, Shin?
I do.
Okay. And any thoughts you might have about it, feel free to say that as well. I don't know if it's the best example, using a screw or using a wheel, but it's just everything has to follow a basic set of rules and laws in this world. And what they've done is they've studied them. They've studied nature. Go ahead.
The spiral, which, people are familiar with the Fibonacci sequence,
Mm-hmm.
which is really God's fingerprint on all creation.
Mm-hmm.
And the spiral
it's even tied
is
to this screw right here.
Exactly. There's no beginning, there's no end. It just is non-stop, eternally going.
Mm-hmm.
And into the infinitely small, into the micro, and into the macro. So this is God's fingerprint. This is God's construct. This is the signature in his frequency, the spiral. This is eternity in essence, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and everything works like this. Everything follows these sets of rules. But once you finally see and recognize that everything is functioning off a specific set of rules, it doesn't matter how small it is or how big it is. Let's say the entire world. And as most of y'all guys know, I spell it WHIRLED because I believe that's the true spelling, but they changed the spelling in order to deceive us. They went with the other spelling. But there's a reason why in the churches, like your Catholic basilicas, and see, even the word Catholic has to do with the word cathode, which cathode has to do with the image that you're looking at here. Cathode has to do with the natural flow of energy the natural flow of energy is studying that as how they invented the cathode. Flow of energy, flow of frequency, you know. And I guess I just wanted to kind of back up and look at things in a more simple manner in case we've left some people behind, I guess. Plus, you know, this is a subject that I'm just enamored with, as you know, Shannon, as everybody knows, because I want to understand. It's like, even if you take the pyramid and you say, okay, well, why was it designed like that? What was the purpose? Well, it had to do with energy and the natural flow of energy, for sure, because these are energetic, basically generators made out of stone. And understanding these things will reveal the true nature of our world. And ultimately, that's where we want to go. And I want to go. I want to know the truth about the hidden things that they don't tell us. Why do they not teach us about this in school? Why do they pretend and tell us we live on a grain of sand that's spinning at 666 or traveling at 666,000 miles an hour, and it's spinning at 2,000 miles an hour at the equator? And why do they tell us all these deceptions? Why do they not tell us about the giant ancient trees of old that were absolutely massive, gigantic, beyond even your ability to really realize how big some of them were? Why do they hide these things? That's why I'm looking for the answers, is because I want to know why they hide it from us. Why they don't tell us the truth. I like to say, why is this got spirals written all on this rock here? This rock that's obviously probably thousands and thousands of years old. Why did some man or whoever from thousands of years ago carve out these spirals on the rock? It shows it spiraling in on itself and then spiraling that back out on itself. And it's in front of a portal or a doorway, which is symbolism, again, of course, for a doorway. Why did they take so much time to carve this temple in India out of stone, out of the mountainside, which is petrified tree in most cases, or in a lot of cases, petrified ancient trees? And then, of course, the tree itself holds the knowledge of the cycles and the patterns and the symbolism that we're talking about. And so I can't help myself. I just keep digging, and piece by piece, it gets revealed to me. And as it gets revealed to me, you guys know what I do. I bring it to y'all guys for your consideration, and you ultimately get to decide what you do with that information. Because a lot of it, I would say, is still theory, like my theory about the known area of land that we exist in. My theory of that it continuously, extremely slowly moves around in a spiral type movement. Everything else in this world does that, but the world itself don't do that. I don't know. I can't prove it. And like I say, it's still theory at this point. But as I consider these things, if they are the true nature, more and more things will come forth. More, you might say, more proof or more things to consider will come forth and will show us what it is. Why did man thousands of years ago put all these rocks in these little circles that look like the flower of life or cathodes? Why did he do that? It's everywhere, all over the world. All these old, really old structures. And we all know that that wasn't built 100 years ago or 200 years ago. Or how about that one? How many cycles have there been since this was carved into stone? And then you have to realize, again, the true nature of it's not just carved into what we consider to be stone, it's carved into the remains of the tree, the ancient trees. And there's an ultimate discernment to be had when it comes to the tree itself that is in the image of everything we're talking about and have been talking about for quite a long time. So for me, part of it is good because it's like, okay, yeah, we're in the end times, but we've been here before. I don't know if I specifically, my spirit has been here before. I couldn't say it because I don't know. I sometimes suspect a few things because of the knowledge that I have, and some things that just blow my mind, like finding out my great-great-great-great-grandfather, Daniel Alexander Cannon, that was his name, and his brother's name was the exact name of my brother, amazingly enough, but like 200 and some years ago, lived in Charleston, which is about 45-minute drive from here, and his house is still standing, and the symbolism he incorporated into the house shows that he had interest or knowledge in the things that we're talking about here today, like cycles and patterns and spirals and symbolism. It's all over that house. And amazingly, it's the only house left in that area of Charleston, because it's all been redeveloped and it's all medical centers and just a bunch of garbage, really. But yeah, I'm on one of those rolls where I keep right on talking, ain't I, Shannon? Okay. Hang on here just a second.
It's all good.
Hey, Leaf, you're live on the Supernatural Show.
Oh, is that right?
Yep, you're live.
Very good.
Tell everybody hello. They can hear you.
Hello, everybody. What's the topic? What's the topic?
Cycles, patterns, and symbolism. The true nature of our, something like the true nature of nature, something along those lines. You know how I like to talk about that kind of stuff.
Very good, very good. Who was it who said when people understand symbols, or it's like unlock the universe or something to that effect?
Mm-hmm.
I forget who had something like that.
I don't know. I probably just said it about 10 minutes ago, as a matter of fact. Yep, I pretty much did.
It's true.
Yeah, it's true. Exactly. Once you understand the true nature of the world that you exist in and the reality that we're in, you unlock everything. That might have been something Tesla said. I don't know, but
Yeah, I think that was good. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you decided to be a guest. You want to hang around and talk some more, or you want me to give you a call back?
No, I'll hang around for a minute. Let's bounce around some subjects.
All right.
So, let's see.
What you got on
my
your
favorites?
Go ahead.
I'm all about Tartaria. That's one of my favorite studies. I mean, I've kind of studied that for the last couple of years, and I haven't advanced 1 inch. I mean, as far as like understanding it, but it is a real thing as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
And it ties in with a lot of other hidden stuff there.
The name of it, Tartaria, is very interesting to me. It seems to be tied very closely phonetically with the word Tor, like Taurus, like tear. You basically only one letter off of saying the word Tor, and then it says Tartaria or Tartarius, according to which word you look at when you look it up stuff. And then the us, of course, is a like word that has a syllable that has to do with the word like Taurus, us, and so I don't know that that's directly tied to it, but anyways.
Yeah, I mean, you were one of the first people who in my studies, you came up with the idea of the torus shape, and that's what's going on. And I mean, now that's almost like common. You hear it a lot. We'll say
a lot now, but everybody thought I was crazy when I first started talking about it.
Yeah, so you were the first there. You were the first, and it actually makes sense, because talking about repeating cycles. You've got the Fibonacci and the shells, of course, and then everything actually ends up being in this Fibonacci, sequence and shape and
pattern,
flowers and plants and
everything fractal.
That ties in with the torus also. That we're in the torus field. I've seen it where it's like that we as individuals are essentially a torus field. Our
absolutely
energy field.
Absolutely.
So who else is chatting in here?
Well, we're live on 10 platforms right now, and Shannon, one of my co-hosts, is here with me, and Miss Kim's here with me, and so we're just doing the normal live show on Mondays, and apparently you weren't watching, but that's okay. You can call me directly, so why watch it, huh? Call up and be on the show.
Well, there you go. Well, you're having an effect, you know what I mean? You are old school. I think we were trying to backdate how long we've known each other, and I used to watch your videos before the big YouTube purge, Well,
I think you said you remembered me talking about the sinkhole.
Yeah, the sinkhole. It's so funny how these things come and then they go. Like, it was this sinkhole epidemic every week.
It was
a sinkhole story.
Mm-hmm.
And I never, we were talking about that in Louisiana. They had those salt mines.
Yeah, the salt domes that caved in. That was one of the big, huge sinkholes that caught my attention. I'm like, what is going on here? It was when I really literally started out, and that's been about 16 years ago, something like that. So, in other words, you've been with me for 16 years. Me and Leaf is a really good brother of mine, and we've been, I think we've been talking one-to-one now for probably close to 10 years, pretty close to it. Yeah, something like that. He calls me up all the time and says, "Oh, Danny boy, the times are turning for you."
But you've had impact, for sure, because I mean, everybody's taking their chip out of it, and then the more people, little by little, and now I swear it's, now of course, I've been telling you, I've been cruising around TikTok, and there's a whole, another, just like people shifted from YouTube, and then they would go for this platform, and that platform, but it's becoming.
I've been planning on doing a lot more TikToks here very soon.
It's a good one, yeah. I mean, there's something to be, there's a lot of bad about the short form, because it does, lend itself to a short attention span. I'm sure that's all some sort of planned thing too.
Yep.
But as far as like delivering messages, I mean, it's kind of nice, having a bite-sized thing, and like most people are working, so we hear a little bit, and it gives you something to think about while you're digging concrete or whatever you're doing.
Right. Yep. Yeah, it's just another avenue, and I'd be streaming live on it right now if I could get the API key or the stream key from them, so I could stream directly to them and have the server URL, but they hide it. They want you to use their software, and you can't just add it in. Like, I'm live on 10 platforms right now, like 2 different YouTube channels, Facebook, Rumble, Kick.com, Odyssey, 10 of them. And I'd like to be doing that one, but they still hiding it for some reason where you can't get to it.
Well, I mean, it kind of makes sense from a competitive standpoint. I guess they want to drive people to their platform, which is it's understandable.
Yeah,
I want to share.
Probably not good, but it is understandable. Yeah.
What do you think about copper? I've seen a lot of these copper bracelets. I've always heard about copper, and
Well,
that's a good thing.
We obviously know that it is very good at transmitting and conducting energy flow, frequency flow, and everything. So if you understood why you were using it, maybe whether you're putting it on your wrist or where you're using it, because the Egyptians, they used to put it around their neck. They'd have a winding, some of them would have a winding of copper that was around their neck, and they believe it increased their energy in their head and the give them a higher level of existence somehow. And there may be some truth to that, but I think if you was to go out in public these days with copper winding around your neck, you'd definitely be called a loony. And, but, who cares about that at this point anyways? I'm already a loony. You a loony too, ain't you?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
certified.
Sounds like the cops.
I got my certification.
Do you? Right.
But speaking of Egyptians just bouncing around, what do you think about the whole Egyptian ruins in the Grand Canyon there? That's a good one too.
Well, I've done quite a bit of studying on that from there, and also up in where the Mississippi and I think it's the Ohio River or something come together. It's right there in Illinois. It's in a little place called Little Egypt, and there's all these mounds that are there, and there's caves there and in the the Grand Canyon, where they say that they found all these antiquities that are Egyptian. It made me start thinking, well, if that's the case, it probably means that in a previous cycle that the United States was actually the center of, at one point, the United States was actually the center of the Egyptian bloodline. Because if you look at what we call the American Indians, those Indians, strangely enough, actually look like Egyptians.
Mm-hmm.
And you look at some of the Indian women and Egyptian women, and you're going to see a woman that looks, I'm not saying it's, DNA an exact hit, but there's something going on there, and somehow or another a catastrophe happened, a cycle ended, and everything got wiped out, and what was left was later on found, which is why they call it founded in 1812, like they found it, like Roxy says on the show sometimes.
I mean, it does, it's like where the evidence, like where the chips fall, if the chips fall and the evidence is kind of pointing that way, it almost makes sense from the standpoint of, the everything, all history is a lie and all this kind of stuff. And it's almost like, whatever you've learned, try to think of it in the exact opposite. And that's probably where the truth is. It's sad to say, but that's about what it seems like.
You ain't gonna believe this, but on my screen, literally at the moment, my next, I'm looking at some slides. I've got 799 slides up here in a presentation, in a Google Doc presentation. And literally the next slide was showing the Egyptians, the explorations in the Grand Canyon, and talking about all the things they found. I'm literally just clicking and showing images of some of the stuff they found, and some different images of areas in the Grand Canyon where there's been caves dug out and homes built in. And literally it was on screen and I didn't realize it when you asked that question.
This is what I would call the supernatural.
Yep. Yeah, he can't hear you, Shannon. But yeah, Shannon, my co-host, said this is what you call supernatural. Because I had it on screen literally, and you called and talking about the same stuff that we're talking about, and then you bring up the Grand Canyon, and I literally had it on screen. I mean, I didn't have to move hardly nothing. It's already right there, which is pretty wild.
Yeah, I mean, that's backed up by, I guess they have like the copy of the old articles about them, explorers who discovered that stuff, and before they could, before the age of censoring and so forth. So a lot of that stuff is still floating out there. So it's got a lot of bona fides. But I'm finishing up my lunch here. But good catching up with you.
Yeah.
And fun being on the show there. And looks like we're on the same page. So.
Imagine that. Well,
all right, well, carry on,
maybe you,
and good,
maybe you
to everybody else who's out there.
Think about it if you want to join us a little bit more officially sometime on the show, and we come on and talk about whatever you want to.
That's a funny coincidence. All right, excellent. All right, love you, man.
All right, love you too, brother. All right, bye-bye. And that's how you do it. That's amazing, ain't it, Shannon? That is supernatural.
Yep.
Yeah. Call up, and I've got the slides on what he wants to talk about on screen. There's a number of different people that over time they kind of stick, and Leaf, he's one of those ones that stuck, and I know him well enough to know I can answer the phone while I'm live, and he'll have something cool to talk about.
Just so you know, that's one of my kitty's names is Leaf or Leif.
Oh yeah,
Leaf. Yeah. Uh-huh. We have Leif or Leaf and Normans. Like, how Scandinavian can you get? My kids named them, but
Mm-hmm. I see you on the website. They're talking about Canada and such. Well, let's see here. See if there's. Because I wanted to look at antiquity and understand these cycles and what it teaches us, and how other human beings have been noticing these cycles and all these things throughout time and more, for thousands of years. Obviously, I'm not the first one, but I want to be with the access that we have due to the internet, as long as we can have it and do have it. There should be very little outside of the bounds of our capability, especially as we continue to grow the show and get people in all different countries. I know we have people in Central America and where the pyramids are at. We could possibly line up things like having somebody go there and give us a tour live, right on the show, and there or any place in the world, really, because
this is something I really wanted to do, was to get more boots on the ground, including us. Like, it would be really great to go to some of these places around in our areas of some, things that we want to film and have documented, and things along those lines, and have questions posed and open conversations, because there's a lot around me that I would love to do that with, and it just would be fun, and it gets you out. It gets you away from your everyday, out in nature, out somewhere different, and just living life. It's kind of a thing that we forgot to do sometimes.
Right.
Yep,
exactly. And we're gonna be working towards that. Like right now we're working towards, I can show you here. If anybody's watching internationally, which I'm sure there are, if you go on the website, you can go to right here under the homepage, you'll see International Super Team, and click on the International Super Team, and it's just a simple sign-up form where you're giving us permission to communicate with you in the country you're in. And if you're outside of the continental United States, meaning if you're in Canada or Alaska, Hawaii, or any place in the world, I would like to have permission for us, because I'm not going to be able to handle all of this, but us together as we grow our team will be able to. But we can communicate as to what really is going on, and we can do lives with the software we're using, especially if I get a new PC, or not if, when I get my new PC. It's just a matter of time. And we'll be able to do things like that, like have somebody at the Grand Canyon filming live, and being a guest on the show, showing what they're seeing at the Grand Canyon, or on top of a pyramid in Central America, or whatever we want to do for the purposes that we want to do it. There's nothing outside of what we could do. So anyways, go sign up here if you're international. Become a part of the international super team, and so that way we can grow this into a international show, because that is truly where we need to go, one of the places. And to give y'all guys one more little quick update, and then we're gonna let you go. Because I know Shannon's got some things to take care of and so on. I wanted to show you real quick on the October Superthon. I told you I'd give you a final number update today, where we ended up. And we had a goal of 10,000, and we didn't make that goal yet. But we were able to hit 4724. And that includes, well, I'll tell you what it includes. It includes, if I could find my page, here we go. Like once a month, I have people, a few people who contribute to my work via Patreon. I also get a little bit of monetization that comes in from my YouTube. And I include all that in this because it's all still because of y'all guys, especially the Patreon donations and even the YouTube monetization, it's because of y'all guys. So, but where we ended up at is, 4724. We had a few more people come in. We had Kimberly G, and that was her. She come back in again, and that was her fourth donation for the October Superthon. Then we had Brian H as well. Thank you, Brian. And then we had William F. Thank you, William. We had Robin W, just like Kimberly, came back in for a fourth donation. Thank you, Robin. Thank you, all of you. I mean, none of you had to do any of this, and I realize that. And I realize how blessed I am. Dennis D also made a second donation. Thank you, Dennis. And then we had Chris S made a second donation also. And then I included the funds that came in from Patreon. Some of you are probably familiar with that platform. And the funds that came in from there were $165.97. So I included all of that, every dime that come in the door from any way, shape, or form for October, and it equals 4724. And I am very grateful. And there's some things that are going to happen that are going to benefit y'all guys. When it comes to the tech and developing it, at the moment, I'm a one-man show, unless somebody out there wants to step in and help me because they know how to do this kind of stuff. If you do, contact me. You can contact me easily from the website. There's numerous ways. But with all that being said, it is about time to get out of here so Miss Shannon can take care of things that she's got going on in her life, called a family and multiple kids and a husband and dinner time and all kind of stuff. But thank you, Super Dave, Super Mike. I didn't mention y'all guys up front on the show. Thank you again. Super Dave was the first one in the chat. Bam! I'm like, man, that man is on the ball. If you don't know, Super Dave has his own channel on YouTube. It's called Super Dave 44. It's all one word. Check out Super Dave 44. And Shannon has her new channel also that's called Children of the Most High. And then Roxy, she has The Roxy Files, all on YouTube. And she also has theroxyfiles.com. Roxy will be back with us on Friday, I'm sure. She's trying to get her hands on a new place to live that'll work for her and her family better and be cheaper. So a little prayer for Roxy to help her get it. She deserves it. With that being said, I'm going to let Shannon have the final word, and then we're out of here.
Well, everyone, if any of you haven't had a chance to talk to Jesus, Yeshua, however you call out to him, just tell him hi, that you love him, and have a conversation. And make sure that you give your loved ones as much love and attention as you can every day, because you never know if it's going to be your last. And yeah, I love you all, and just love one another. One of my favorite commandments, which kind of just, if you follow this one, a lot of other ones won't be broken, and that's to love thy neighbor as thyself. So love your neighbor, guys. And yeah,
that was one of the simplest rules
night
that Christ gave us, was love thy neighbor as thyself.
Yeah.
If we all did that, we wouldn't have no problems in this world.
Exactly.
But, we're a bit off of that at the moment. Thank you, Shannon. Thank you, Miss Kim. And thank you, Roxy. Even though you weren't here, I know you contribute all the time. So thank you, too. Thank you, Super Dave, Super Mike. And we'll see you Wednesday. Wednesday, we'll be going back on our normal pattern, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Shannon and Roxy's shows are on Tuesdays and Thursdays. On the website, you can go there and you can take a look at the schedule if you want to, and get familiar with normally when we try to go. But we're a small team, so we don't always hit the times exactly, but we do the best we can. So with that, I love you. Father in heaven loves you. And we'll see you. Well, Shannon will see you tomorrow, and I'll see you on Wednesday. Never know, I might pop in on some of their shows coming here soon, too.
Well, I was hoping Thursday we're going to pop in with mine, remember?
Don't tell nobody.
That's what I'm hoping.
Don't tell nobody.
But I want to, so that way you're locked in.
Oh, Lord. Got me locked in now. Vacation
we gotta talk
long.
we gotta talk more about that natural man law. You know what I'm saying?
Yep, the true nature of man. Yep. All right, sister.
All right.
We will talk to you. Ain't no telling, might be 5 minutes. But for the rest of you guys, I'll see you on Thursday, if not sooner. Or, excuse me, Wednesday and Thursday. Wait a minute, now I'm back to 4 days again. Okay, I'll be all right. Love you. Bye-bye for now.